The art of asking how to make polite requests in English. Okay, so have you ever needed to ask for something like really important, but you were worried you might sound a little too pushy or maybe even demanding? Yeah, it's a super tricky balance, right? But honestly, getting this right, mastering the art of the polite request, can be the difference between getting a yes and, well, getting a door slammed in your face. So let's dive in and figure out how to do it. I mean, you know that feeling, right? When you need to ask for a big favor? We've all been there. You get that little bit of nervousness, that hesitation right before you ask your boss for a day off. Or maybe you need a huge favor from a friend. Your mind is just racing, trying to find the perfect words. And see, that's exactly what we're talking about today. There is such a fine line between just asking for something and straight up demanding it. It's the difference between a polite request that gets you a yes and a demand that gets you a big, fat no way. So in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to stay on the right side of that line. All right, so to see how this all works in the real world, we're going to look at a classic standoff. Let's watch a pretty typical conversation unfold. Our case study: a teenager trying to ask her father for something she really, really wants. So she starts with, "Hey, Daddy, you look great today. I like your tie." Huh, a classic move, right? Flattery. A simple compliment is such a common way to kind of warm someone up, Create a good vibe before you drop the big question. And then, here it comes. The first attempt. She goes, "By the way, I was wondering, can I see that soft opening? I was wondering." But her dad, he's one step ahead. He cuts her right off because he knows something's coming. He can feel it. Okay, so she tries again, this time with a different but still very polite phrase. "Do you think I could borrow the car? I'm going to a concert tonight." So, boom, she gets straight to the point. She wants the car. But Dad says, "I don't think so. I need the car tonight to pick up your mother." And there it is, a polite but firm no. He gives a clear reason, but you can feel the tensions start to rise. Now she's got to pivot. What's plan B? So the car is a no-go. She moves to plan B, cash. "Fine then, would you mind giving me $100? Did you catch that shift in tone? That "fine then"? Ugh. She's using another super polite phrase, "would you mind?" but you can just feel the frustration bubbling up. And his response? No way. Yep, that is a hard no. The negotiation is officially over. So clearly this whole thing didn't go her way, but believe it or not, this little conversation is packed with some amazing examples for us to look at. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 magic phrases she used. And it's funny, right? Because even though she totally struck out, she actually used 3 excellent phrases for making polite requests. Let's unlock the secrets and break them down. So here they are. Step 1, I was wondering. Step 2, do you think I could? And step 3, would you mind? These are the 3 big ones she used. Each one works a little differently to soften what you're asking for, which makes them super useful for, anything from borrowing the car to asking your boss for a deadline extension. Okay, let's start with number 1. I was wondering. This is just such a gentle way to begin. It's a really soft, indirect opening. Why does it work so well? Because it feels way less demanding. You're not giving an order, you're just sharing a thought you're having. It's not so in your face, which makes it a lot easier for someone to say yes. Next up, do you think I could? Now, this one's a little more direct, for sure, but it's still incredibly polite. I mean, think about it. Do you think I could borrow the car sounds so much softer than just, can I borrow the car? It puts the other person in control, like you're asking for their opinion, not just their permission. It's all about making it feel like their decision. And finally, we have would you mind? This one is a real powerhouse of politeness. I mean, you're literally asking if your request would be an inconvenience for them. It's perfect when you need someone to do something for you, like holding a door or, giving you $100. But there's a really important little grammar rule that goes with this one. And here is that rule. You have to remember this. After would you mind, the verb that comes next has to end in ing, always. So it's would you mind giving me $100, not would you mind to give me. It's would you mind closing the window, not would you mind to close. Getting this one little detail right makes you sound so much more fluent and natural. All right, so we've got the magic phrases down, but let's talk about words with attitude, because it's not just about the polite phrases, is it? The other words you choose can pack a serious punch and carry a ton of hidden meaning, especially in casual conversations. So let's look at a couple of examples from our dialogue that really add some spice and context. Okay, remember when the daughter was trying to justify why she needed the car? She mentioned the guy at the concert was the hottest and most popular guy at school. Now, these two words might seem similar, but they're not the same thing. Hottest is all about looks. It means handsome, attractive, sexy. But most popular, that's about your social life, having tons of friends and just being really well liked by everyone. And what about fine then? Oh, this is a perfect example of how your tone can completely change the meaning of your words. When she says, fine then, she does not mean everything is fine and dandy. Nope. She's basically saying, okay, you win, but I am not happy about it. It's a phrase that's just loaded with frustration and reluctant agreement. Okay, so it's your turn to ask. We've taken apart that conversation, we've analyzed the key phrases, we've even looked at the informal words that add all the attitude. Now let's put it all together so you can walk away and actually start using these tools in your own life. So here are the key takeaways, your new toolkit for asking for anything. First, if you want to start off gently, take the pressure off, go with I was wondering. If you need to be a little more direct but you still want to be super polite, use do you think I could? And of course, the big grammar rule, remember to always use that ing verb after would you mind. See, now that you have the tools, what will you ask for? Because these phrases, they're not just words, right? They're basically keys that can unlock better, smoother conversations. They can help you out with your friends, at school, at your job, pretty much everywhere. So the only question left for you is, now that you know how to ask so politely, what are you going to ask for?